Hey y'all, I'm back for part two. That's for part two. Oh yes, I'm excited. I'm excited because we get to talk about what the Lord did this episode. Now, that was kind of a weak introduction. I'm sorry, I'm just excited. I love y'all. Thank you for coming back for part two. I'm just so wrapped up. I told y'all I was going to record immediately right after. So I'm still, For you, you waited a week. For me, seconds. But I'm excited. I'm really excited. Again, this is what was, because baby, I'm good now. But I was definitely nervous about sharing this testimony. But I ain't nervous no more. So if you missed it, you gotta watch part one. But just to recap, so hold on, let me go through my notes, child, because I don't already. I told God, if you heal me, I will testify. I was molested for 5 years, starting at 3, assaulted for 4 years, starting at 16. I endured a lot. Numerically, the numbers, they are very up there for all of the things, all of the sexual trauma that I've been through. It is a lot. It is a lot. I've been raped, sexually assaulted, sexually violated, suffered through child on child, statutory rape, harmful situations. I was drugged one time. I don't know what happened then. I couldn't tell you. I know what I know, and what I don't know, I don't know. That's how drugs work. That's how roofies work. So, yeah, I'll never know. Unfortunately, I've dealt with the fact that I will never know, but it's what happens. So I've dealt with a lot of stuff. Oh, you know what? I don't think I mentioned this. I don't think I did. I'm gonna get to it because I know it's in my notes. In the summer of 2012, I was diagnosed with herpes simplex 1. Everything shifted in that moment. After that, I decided I am not, I have no sex no more. I'm not even having no sex. I'm not doing anything sexual. Like, I wasn't even trying to kiss nobody because I was just like, I don't want to do anything that could lead to somebody contracting this from me. I want no parts with it. I don't know how I got there. I don't know how long it was there, but I didn't want 0 parts in nothing. Unfortunately. Sorry, unfortunately, it's misplaced. Unfortunately, I don't know when it got there, how it got there. I don't know, but it was there. So that was in the summertime. By December, I was baptized in January 2013. I received the Holy Spirit. So a lot happened in 2012. Got the diagnoses, decided I have no sex no more because I'm not trying to give nobody herpes. Then by the end of the year, my entire life changed. In the middle of the year, towards the endish of the year, my life seemed like it was going to go to hell in a handbasket, and God met me, and he completely changed my life. I was extremely cautious with, because of the herpes. I was always afraid that I was going to get somebody sick. I washed my hands overly. I just constantly treated myself like I was a disease. And just felt like I could be contagious at any given moment, flare up or not. I just felt like my entire existence was just a walking disease. the identity struggles I had just contributed to everything. I felt like my body was only good for sex and all that. I'm just trying to briefly recap what we went through already. In 2024, I was diagnosed with PTSD, but I had the symptoms since I was 3. Like it's always been there. So a long periodically time, it has been inside of me and impacted me and how I showed up and all that stuff. It gave me clarity, but still it you know, it was a lot. I had the dissociative traumas. There's a lot that I unpacked with there. Yeah, so I'm gonna start back at June 22nd, 2025, when God healed me. So I hadn't been fasting, I hadn't been praying for it. I had belief that God would heal me. I'm sure, I honestly can't remember. I'm sure I probably fasted and prayed, you know, for God to heal my body at some point in time. But at this point in time when he healed me, I hadn't been praying for that. I hadn't been thinking about that at all. It was not on my mind. You know what I'm saying? But I believed in 2012, when I came to Christ, I believed that he was going to heal me. And I have been believing since a few months ago that God would heal me from PTSD. I didn't know when he was going to do it. I didn't know how he was going to do it. I wasn't really concerned. I mean, obviously, I didn't want to be like 80 and be like, it's gone. But I just had a belief that God was going to do it, that God was going to heal me. So now we're all caught up. So I had an expectation of God healing me, not just for myself, but for others as well. I didn't want my future husband to have to deal with the fact that I had herpes. I didn't want to have to deal with that. I didn't want to have to feel like, oh, we're going to always have to wear a condom. We like, if you try and kiss me one day, well, might be having a flare up. I don't want to. Like, I didn't want that to impact my marriage. I didn't want that to affect anything, right? I was being mindful of that. I wasn't just praying for myself, but I was praying that he wouldn't have to deal with that. Oops, I got some lipstick on my mouth. Turn me in my hand. For the PTSD, I didn't want him to have to deal with that. I didn't want him to have to deal with me, you know, having a trigger. And because the PTSD got so bad to a point where like everything was just kind of like, you know what I'm saying? I remember there was like a few times, actually a pretty decent amount of times, at least in like 2024 and not this year, but definitely in 2024, where if my eyes were closed and I was praying in church or something and I could hear a man, I was just concerned. I was fearful for my life because I felt like something could help me. And the voices that I was hearing were people that I knew, because I'm in church. Like, I know who you are. I don't have to question like, oh, is that so-and-so? Yeah, I know exactly who that is. I know they would not hurt me. I know that they would never do something like that to me. But because of what I had been through, like, it was just so much. And I was like, how are you going to be married? Now, I'm not coming at anybody who's married who is presently dealing with this. I'm fully believing for you, but this is how I felt. How am I going to pray for God to send me a husband? And then when he comes, I'm sitting up here like, oh no, like, girl, you asked for the man, and now you're gonna be scared that the man is here. I didn't want to deal with that. I didn't want him to have to deal with that, with all of the triggers, all of the sounds, all of the things that I was going through, all of the emotions that would come and go, and it'd be so intense. I did not want him to have to deal with that. I didn't. I was being mindful of that. Again, I wasn't just expecting for me, I was expecting for other people. I was expecting for my future children. Who wants to be a first time mom, first, second, third, however many kids I'll have, who wants to have their child and then be afraid to kiss them because what if I'm having a flare up? And if you know anything about babies, you gotta be careful, especially if you have herpes alone, because then get the little dots all over the head. And I was like, I don't want my children to have to deal with it. I don't want to not be able to love on my kids the way that I want to because of what is in my blood. And then God forbid they contract that. Now it's passed down in the bloodline. I was being mindful of other people. I wasn't just praying for myself. I was praying for those who are connected to me. I also wanted just people who I don't know, people that I do know, people who can hear my testimony and be healed in their mind. And to understand that God can do the same thing for them. I was expecting not just for myself, but for others. Me sharing this testimony is not just for me, it's for you too. I had an expectation that God is going to heal me and it's going to be able to be a blessing to other people, not just for me. I want it for me because I don't want to keep thinking this way. I don't want to keep showing up this way. I don't want to keep treating myself like I'm a disease. I don't want to keep treating myself like, oh God, all this stuff happened to you and you're just, I didn't want to deal with that anymore. I did not want to feel that way. And I did not want the effects of the herpes and the effects of the PTSD to taint or impact my relationships, to impact my family, to impact my bloodline, to impact my community. I did not want it to impact me and others anymore. So I was in expectation that God was going to do something. A few weeks ago, I had a revelation, and I realized that, again, as I said, I don't know who, how, where, when the herpes came about. I don't. And I had always had this thought of like, again, I just, there was just so much shame around it. All right. Like, you're disgusting, you're gross, ill. How could you? And a few weeks ago, I realized, like, because I don't know when this happened, this might not have come when I thought, or come the way that I thought it did. Because in 2024, I've been on 2025 too, but it really started in 2018 when I just randomly was thinking about the night that I was drugged, and I was just kind of like, I feel like something happened. So slowly things started to happen, but definitely in 2023, I started unpacking stuff. I have a whole document with everything that I could possibly remember that has happened to me. I started writing it down. I started putting everything in there. And so, in 2024, I sat with my therapist because I didn't have one in 2023. So by 2024, I started sitting with her, and we've been going through a process of properly labeling things and what actually happened to me. And as memories started to come in, because not everything was a dissociative trauma. Some things I genuinely just forgot because, back in the day, I just saw it as sex. I saw it as an uncomfortable situation. I saw it as that time that guy was doing too much, right? So I started to write things down, and God started to reveal more things to me, and I put them in the document, and we would talk about it. I realized that most, not even half, most of the sexual encounters that I had in my life were some sort of form of sexual trauma. Whether it was a violation, whether it was assault, whether it was rape, whether it was something, right? It was bad. So I realized, like, I've been treating myself like I'm just stank nasty girl who's out here just hunching and caught something. And I realized, like, this could have actually come from being assaulted. This could have come from somebody taking advantage of me to get their own sexual pleasure And it's not my fault. And even if it did come from me being out here hunching, this was happening and I was being promiscuous because of the fact that I was first assaulted at such a young age. And at that time, I developed, as a child, I developed the mindset that my body's only good for sex. This is all we're good for, right? That's where my mind was at. As a child, I felt that my body's only good for other stuff, for sexual pleasure, for men. That's all that I saw myself for. So of course I was out here doing stuff. And statistically, people who have been through any form of sexual trauma tend to be more hyper aroused, sexual. I can't think of the word that I'm trying to say, but it's unfortunately a thing that happens because you've been through stuff, and especially if you went through something as a child, like it just reforms your brain. You probably start masturbating, you start engaging more sexual conduct. That's why it's called child on child, as I referred to, I think, the last episode. Because you don't know what you're doing. You just out here doing stuff because it happened to you. Like the children that did the child on child to me, we were all young. They were very aggressive and knew exactly what they were doing, but I don't think they just woke up one day and said, you know what we want to do? Let's just be aggressive and let's just do stuff. No, I'm pretty sure that they endured something themselves and they were replicating that. It still doesn't make it okay. It 1000% does not make that okay. But that was clearly something that they had seen or experienced for themselves, and they were doing the same thing, because I had experienced stuff and I just became super sexual. Even as a child, I was always trying to kiss people or touch or something. Like I wasn't always out here just like grabbing people, but I wanted to do something all the time because of what I had went through. So it's like it just kind of, it does something to you. But I realized that, like, again, whether or not this came from me being assaulted, it would have come from the fact that I endured something and it altered my mind, which led me to feeling like I just need to give it up at any point in time, however which way they want it. And it could have led to that. So you might be thinking that whatever you went through was because of, now some things we do is because of wrong choices. Even if it did come from, a time where I willingly was just out here just doing stuff or whatever, that still would have been a wrong choice because I had no business having no sex. Still true. But, we got to find the root of things. Is what I'm coming down to. We got to find the root of things, because you're sitting up here, you might be sitting up here blaming yourself for something that happened, and it might be like there's actually a deeper part to that. Like there's something else that is there. Stop blaming yourself for something that happened, whether or not it intentionally happened or not. Stop blaming yourself. Stop doing that. So yeah, these are the things that happened before service, like where my head is at, all this stuff. So when June 22nd came, I was in expectation of something happening. I was expecting something different to happen that Sunday, something completely unrelated to happen. But I had this mindset that something was going to happen. I was in expectation of God doing something that Sunday. Something. I didn't know what, but I was in expectation. So that Sunday, Apostle Jonathan McGee was at our church and he was preaching. And so he had an altar call, and he said, if anyone needs healing, come up. Even if you want healing for someone in your family, like come up and, pray, whatever. Any other time an altar call had happened for healing, if it was something specific to even like just herpes in general, I just would get in my head. Like if he was like anything in the blood, like I felt like, okay, well, you know, technically it's in the blood, but I was just like, I don't know, maybe, you know, I started talking myself out of it because I still had a belief that God would heal me. But there's also a part of me that was like, okay, but what if he doesn't heal me? What if I've been in expectation for God to do something for me and I go up and I feel like I've made a fool out of myself? What if it's just been me this whole time and what I thought I heard God say was he's going to heal me wasn't actually that, and it's just been me telling myself God's going to do it, God's going to do it. Because there's some people where there are people who are ride or die for Jesus. They were diagnosed with cancer and they died. They got hit by a car and they died. Like, just not great ways to end lives as we would see it, right? But they were truly like rocking with God, right? So I just didn't want to be disappointed. I did not want to be disappointed. So I was nervous always about going up. I always created a story. Well, what if I go up and it's not like this don't apply to me? And then now I'm speaking something over myself and I go up and now I got some extra. All this stuff, right? All of this stuff was going on in my head. And I was still trying to fight it during this altar call. But I was just like, okay, I need to stop fighting it. And I went up. So that was that last week? It sure was last week. At that time, I was still having some back issues. So in my mind, I was like, well, God can heal my back. You know, there's a whole lot of stuff internally going on that's not necessarily great. But hey, you heal whatever you want to heal, Lord. If you want to heal my back, if you want to heal this next stuff I got going on, Lord, pick a spot. If there's something wrong physically, you can do it. I trust you, right? So I'm standing at the altar call and I hear God say, what's the one thing that you want healing for? And in my head, I'm like, excuse me, this is not of God. This is my flesh, because God can do anything. He can heal it all. I'm just going to stand here and he going to do it. Because I also was like, well, maybe I'll come up here for like my family member too, who I know needs healing, you know, just do it all. Just bam, 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 bam. Just do everything. And then I heard again, what's the one thing that you want healing for? So I was like, this might not be my flesh. This is the Lord. This is the Lord. So I said, I want to be healed from herpes. So I'm standing in the line and I'm praying and I'm praying and I'm praying. Apostle comes over, he lays hands, and I don't know, something feels different inside of me. Something feels different. I go back to my seat and I'm sitting there and God says, I've healed you from herpes and I've healed you from PTSD. Yeah. Yeah. The herpes had been in my body for 13 years at that point. Honestly, it could have been this month when I got the diagnosis, because again, it was hot out in Boston. In Georgia, it gets hot like April. I mean, it's pretty much kind of hot year-round-ish. It gets cold, but in Boston does like the summer, like they have all 4 seasons. So by June, it's definitely hot. So 13 years of herpes being inside of my body, he healed me in one night that I was not praying for, that I wasn't even thinking about when I went up to the altar. The thought came to my mind, but in my mind, it was just still kind of like, well, I don't know, you know, maybe. I had PTSD for 30 years. 30 years. And he healed me in a night. It didn't come from, he laid hands, but it was not like I laid out on the floor and I was all passed out and I came up and it was an apostle was like, you're healed. No. It came from oh God, I want to cry. It came from an intimate moment with God where I trusted him in a moment. I came out of agreement with disappointment and I decided that I was going to trust God and let him heal me and let him do something inside of me. And he did more than I expected. He did more than I asked for. He did exceeding abundantly. Truthfully, I was not expecting that at all, but God saw me and he said, I want to heal you. He heard my cry. That's why I'm wearing all black. For the funeral, for all the things that are dead, all the things that are gone, all the things that are destroyed, everything that I dealt with, all the identity struggles that I dealt with, all of the triggers that I was dealing with, all of the scared to touch myself in any capacity or like, anything that had like I could contract, not contract, Lord. You get what I'm trying to say. Make anybody get it. My mind was just a mess. I constantly was in fight or flight mode. I constantly was just afraid. Oh, that's the thing that I forgot to mention. On top of like all the other stuff that I had, and like the triggers and the sounds and the movies and the TV shows and conversations and hearing people pray and stuff, like I also I had a fear of being sex trafficked. I was afraid that would happen to me. I was so afraid of that happening. Like just everything was just a mess. And God healed me in a moment because I believed. In an intimate moment with him, I put myself out there. I was vulnerable with God in that moment, and I trusted him to do something. And he asked me what I wanted, and he did just that. Not only did he do just that, but he did more than I asked for. Because they were connected. They were connected. The PTSD came from sexual trauma. The herpes came from sexual trauma, in whatever form that was, whether again it came from me being assaulted or just because, I was out here hunching and stuff because of the trauma that I went through. God healed me in a moment. There is nothing too hard for God. There is nothing too hard for God. Oh God. Oh God. Around the same time, he healed me. I wasn't even thinking about that. And things have been different. Everything, those two things that I was dealing with are both deemed as something you cannot get rid of. Herpes is diagnosed as something that is incurable. When you have it, science says there's nothing you can do to get rid of it. PTSD is something that you can manage, but it's labeled as there's nothing that you can do to get rid of it. Both of those are incurable things. It's something that you're just stuck with and you have to navigate life with it. Nobody but God could have done this for me. Nobody but God can do it for you. Nobody but God. Nobody but God. I don't need to come up here with a piece of paper to prove anything. I heard what I heard. I know what I know. And I'm here. My body feels so much different. Again, it's not that I was unclean before, but there's like a cleanness that I feel on the inside of me. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but my blood just feels different. I feel different. My mindset is different. Something that I was dealing with for 13 and 30 years, he healed me from in the blink of an eye because I surrendered to him. I was expecting for others. I was expecting for myself. I was willing to testify and to share God's goodness. And I didn't know when it was going to come. But on June 22nd, 2025, God healed me. And I'm so, so thankful. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. Those two had me in a chokehold. It didn't allow me to move forward in life in the ways that I needed to because of the impacts that those things made. And he healed me. There is nothing impossible for God. I don't know what you're dealing with mentally. I don't know what you're dealing with physically. There's nothing too hard for God. There's nothing that he cannot do. It might be incurable. It might seem impossible. You might be dealing with depression. You might be dealing with anxiety. You could have another STD. You could have the same STD that I had. You could have anything. I don't know what your issue is. I don't know what that thing is that you're believing God to heal you from so that you can be made whole. But God can do it. Let this be a testimony that God can do it. If he did it for me, a little girl who was harmed and just broken and wounded, and the wounds just maintained throughout adulthood and all of this stuff. Somebody who oh God, just dealt with so much stuff. Like, the sexual trauma is like it's like the biggest part of me, but it's not the only thing that I've dealt with in life. But just the biggest part of me that just felt impossible to be healed from, God healed me from. He can do anything but fail. With God, all things are possible. Everything is possible. If it's in God's will, he can and he will do that thing for you. It's not a question of will he do it. If it's in his will, he is going to do it. He is going to take care of it. He is going to respond. Let your faith speak. Don't just say that you have faith and you believe it. Do what needs to be done. If you need to go up to that altar, if you need to stop doing that thing or stop going to that place or whatever that thing is, do it, because God can heal you. I came into agreement with healing and came out of agreement with shame. I came into agreement with joy and peace and restoration and came out of agreement with disappointment. Oh God. Oh, see, I knew I was going to talk about that. I had that written somewhere. Sharing this testimony and being healed is like, wow, amazing. But also, sharing this testimony is dismantling shame. Because again, there's so much shame that comes with STDs. There's so much shame that comes with sexual trauma. So much. Like, the STD or whatever your thing is, or something like similar or whatever that you may have. But specifically for STDs, like, there's people joke about certain things, but it's really like you're just kind of seen as like, unless you have people that love and care about you and can treat you the right way, people can really see it as like, just not, ew, you just feel so shameful, whether or not it came from something that you did or something that you didn't do. You still feel so much shame because it's like, this is just something that is just deemed as so nasty and so gross, and you're just pitiful. For sexual trauma, even though it's not something that we did to ourselves, we still feel like it's not just me. Right? There might be some people who've been through sexual trauma who don't feel the shame part at all. But pretty much everybody, I don't really know too many people that haven't, all feel that sense of shame. Like, I didn't do this to me. Yet I feel like, well, if I had, maybe if I hadn't been at that house, maybe if I hadn't said this thing, if I had fought back, if I said no, if I just didn't or did do something, then it wouldn't have happened. That's not up to you, babes. I don't care if you was butterball naked walking down the street and someone assaulted you. That's not your fault. But shame comes and it tries to destroy and tries to take all joy away from you and make you just feel so unworthy. But God's love makes you feel so worthy, because he has deemed you as worthy. worthy of his love, worthy of his promises. There's nothing that we can do to make God love us more, to love us in general. He just does, because he's just that good. But they come with so much shame. And we just try and run and hide because it's like, I just feel so gross. But I'm dismantling shame in doing this. And I hope that it encourages you to share your testimony. I'm not only believing God for you to heal you for whatever it is that you are asking God for healing for or from, but it's you speaking and declaring the goodness of God even before it happens, even before he heals you. If there's something that you need to share, like, I didn't share my testimony, publicly until God healed me, but I did share my testimony. I did share. I did have conversations with people, not a lot of people, but I did come out of agreement with shame and tell people about the herpes. I was very transparent and open about the PTSD, but the herpes I was more like quiet about, but I still had to push myself to share that instead of, I had to push myself to share. And I'm so glad that I did. But all of us overcomers of sexual trauma, and anyone who was or is currently diagnosed with an STD, like, you understand the shame part, but come out of agreement with it. Share your testimony. Do it. I can't even think anymore. I just yeah. No, I'm no longer partnering with lies. I'm no longer partnering with shame. It is not my identity. I am free. God freed me, and I'm going to remain free. That's it. I wanted to share this testimony because I said I would, but I also want people to be free. I want you to be free from those thoughts that have plagued you, that made you feel like you're insignificant, that made you feel like you're not enough, that made you feel like God's never going to do it for me, or I believe God's going to do it for me, but I have to do X, Y, and Z. Like, I don't know the how, when, the where, I don't know. I don't have the answers. I don't have the answers, but I know that God can do it. He can, and he will do it. Again, if it is in his will, there's no question of whether or not God is going to do it. Just have faith. Just keep believing. And even if you don't know, still have faith and still believe. Because I wasn't 100% sure if God was going to heal me, but I still maintained the belief that he would. I still maintained the faith that he would. It didn't come to a point where I was just desperate and trying to do all these things for it, but I still maintained the posture of belief. I showed up as best as I could with where my mind was at, but I believed that God was going to heal me from herpes, and he did exactly that. The woman you're looking at is not the same person that I was 2 weeks ago. I'm not the same person. Something shifted and changed inside of me. And I wanted to make sure that I shared this with you so that you can not only see it and hear it, but believe it for yourself. I don't care what that thing is. I don't care what that thing is. I don't care what that thing is. God can do it. I'm trusting and believing God with you. I'm partnering with you because we will no longer ever come into agreement with shame. We will no longer give it access. We won't give it a seat at the table. We won't give it room. I'm going to punch it in his eye, even try and come back. What do I look like talking to you? Get out of here. Oh, okay. Let me get to the closing part because 39 minutes. I have some scriptures. John 8:36 says, "So if the Son sets you free, you are truly free." 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, "This means that anyone who belongs to Christ has become a new person. The old life is gone. A new life has begun." And Ephesians 3:20 says, "Now to him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that works in us." You are free, you are a new person, and God can and will do the exceeding abundantly in your life. I'm not questioning it. I got the proof. I am the proof. I am the proof that he can do exceeding abundantly. I am the proof that God can heal you. I am the proof that God will pull up and show up about you. I am the proof that it doesn't matter what happened and how and when and all that stuff. God can heal you. Mentally, physically, God can heal you. He can do the things. Choose God. If you've been set free, stay free. Stay postured in freedom. If you don't know God and you want to come to him, then partner with him. Come out of agreement with the lies. Come out of agreement with the torment. And speak the word. Have faith. Have faith. But choose God. Choose God and live in freedom. Live free. Stay free. If you need to come to God, come to him. He's waiting for you with open arms. Even if you already know the Father and you just need to be cleaned, renewed, restored in your mind. You need him to heal you. You need him to touch you. Come to him. He's waiting for you with open arms. He's waiting to do that thing for you. God was excited to heal me. He wasn't like I get this girl been talking so much. Let me just heal her now. No. He was waiting and excited. He was rejoicing with me. When I got healed, when God told me that he was healed, I had gone back to my seat and there was a woman who came up and she had a cane and got to heal her body. And I was just like, no, sis, I love this for you. And I'm rejoicing with you. But me and the Father are here right now because he just did a thing and I'm so thankful. We have a little moment. Because I was so thankful. And I just wanted to sit with God and just yeah, he's waiting. He can do it for you. Just believe, have faith, partner with him, come out of agreement with those lies, come out of agreement with shame, come out of agreement with disappointment, rejection, all of the things. Let God do it for you because he's willing. I, again, am proof that God can and will do it for you. And again, I said I was going to testify, and so I did just that. So sorry I had to split this up, but as you see, this part is 40 plus minutes long. That was going to be a very long video. So I had to split it up. But again, if you stuck with me for both parts, if you haven't watched part 1, go back and watch it. So you can just hear like some of my history and how we even got to this part. But God is a healer. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was a little bit in my feelings before recording this, just because I was just exhausted and tired. Just like, and then you want me to record, you want me to share this testimony. Oh my gosh. You know, I was feeling away, but I took a little nappy nap. Naps will change things. I took me a little nappy nap and I woke up and I was just like, all right, let's get this done. I even put on red lipstick for y'all. Let me tell you something. This is the first time I've ever in my life. Can I zoom in? It's on my teeth. I don't know if it's on my teeth. Oh, amen, praise God. Yeah, I put this on because we're doing a new thing. God's done a new thing, so we're gonna do a new thing. Wearing black because bye-bye. Funeral! Let's have a moment of silence. And we're done. It's done. It's done. It's all done. I'm healed. You're healed. We're all healed. I don't know how to end this. Yeah, I love you. We will continue to talk about things. I know I said I was going to dive deeper into PTSD a little bit, just kind of talk about that, sharing that. And there was something else. What else did I say? Oh, just the sexual trauma stuff. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to do that necessarily next week, but I am going to talk about that at some point because it is important. Yeah, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. God is so good. God is so good. I did it. I did it, y'all. I love you. Take care of yourself. You thought I forgot, didn't you? Huh? I did it. Take care of yourself. I love you. I will see y'all next. I keep saying I love you because I do. I love you. If you ever heard it, you need to hear it again. I love you. I don't care if I don't know you. I don't care if this is your first time here. I love you. And there's nothing you can do about it. No take back seats. All right, I'll see y'all next episode because we're back in it. Praise God. I took my rest. I didn't take the time off. I didn't have any other choice, but we're not like this anymore. Praise God, huh? Hallelujah. I'll see y'all next week. Bye.